Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Lando from the UMG team. Today, I have an interview scheduled with a good friend of mine. I've got Johnny from Rogue. Johnny, how are you doing today, my friend?
What's up? Good, good. Just
Good.
playing some pubs, waiting for the scream stuff here.
Exactly, man. Now, I want to say really quickly, me and you actually do know each other pretty well. We've kind of gone back a little bit over time. Like, I know I've seen you at a few local tournaments and stuff, but I have to say my favorite organization, besides Rogue, of course, that you ever been on was Jester. Jester Johnny,
Oh, dude.
best name, like one of the best combinations of names that I've ever seen. Jester
Jester
Johnny.
Johnny GG.
Oh yeah, now
I
Johnny
love
Tsunami.
Jester.
What I
Yeah,
want to
shout
know,
out
like,
to
is
my
Johnny
cousin.
Tsunami like? Is that just a great movie that you've coveted for a while? Or
Well, yeah. I mean, I've seen the movie, but I just did it because I just needed something like personal to brand. Yeah, I couldn't think of anything, so
right.
I just Johnny Tsunami. I guess was the simplest thing.
I like it. I like it. So today, I want to talk to you about a few different things. I want to talk about, obviously, kind of leading into, what has obviously been the most past events you guys obviously competed at. I want to talk about champs as well, kind of the preparation for you guys, because I know you did have a little bit of an overhaul when it came down to your roster, and I know you've kind of been in the captainship role of kind of deciding a lot of that has happened. So I know heading into NA relegation qualifier, for those who don't remember, it was yourself, TCM, Pemby, and Nelson. I want to know, not necessarily like the decisions to maybe make a roster change or anything along those lines, but what really sparked the idea behind, what, this just isn't working, and what was kind of like the fuel to the fire in some cases to kind of revamp the roster in some cases?
Well, that roster was kind of just like a team, to be honest. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, me and Nelson were still in Rogue, but after Godorex and Pander went to Echo for the OQ, we really didn't have much options, and we just tried to get the best players we could at the time, free agents, and honestly, the two best free agents are Pemby and TCM.
Mm-hmm.
We just played. It didn't really work out. We didn't really scrim as a team much because we got the team together like very, very, very late. So it was never really a set thing to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, after the OQ, Godorex and Pander found themselves back from Rogue, so everything was fine. After went to Anaheim as a four again, did decent. Ended up dropping Nelson
Right.
over. I mean, there's a lot of reasons behind that.
Yeah.
I mean, in and out of game things that just weren't working, so we had to let him go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that obviously makes sense. Of course, I know as time does go on, your rosters kind of like get picked up over time, and of course, it's obviously worked out for you guys. That's for sure. You guys definitely seem to be kind of forming and playing a lot better. I want to talk to you about a few of the players in particular. We'll obviously get into that here in just a moment, but I want to give a quick info on that tournament. You guys ended up losing to Panda in winners round 1. You guys ended up losing 3-0. Of course, that was the NA relegation qualifier.
Panda?
Uh,
Beat Panda.
Wait, I thought you guys lost to Panda in winners round 1.
Are you talking about the LCQ or the?
Oh no, this is relegation qualifier. My bad. My bad.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a totally different Panda roster
Okay,
compared to
yeah.
the other one. And then you guys end up losing to Lethal losers round 2. So it obviously makes sense that you really wanted to kind of change up the team a little bit
Right.
in some cases. And personally, like I don't know about like how long you've known Godorex for. You probably known him for a while. I remember watching him back in AW on Vanquish, just absolutely destroying people, and that was such like a interesting time because I was just starting up casting. So I've known Godorex for a while. Of course, I know you too, but it was always like interesting to kind of see like how players kind of form together and obviously become teams later. And I know too that you actually played with Godorex and Pander. Was that under 100 Ls last year for last
Yeah,
year's
it was,
Champs qualifiers?
Yeah, for the chance qualifier last year.
So
It was,
what was that kind of reforming with them?
That honestly, that was just a pickup, just straight up. Like I knew Pander, I knew Godorex, but I knew Pander more than Godorex, I guess, at the time. So I've known Pander since like Ghost. I didn't really compete back then, but the only event I went to is when I met him. So I don't know. I just kind of threw our team together last minute. We played. We actually didn't do that bad. I mean, as a pickup team, we had Destiny instead of
Right.
as our fourth at the time, and just some unfortunate performances out of Destiny. I mean, I love the dude, but I mean, he didn't have his best weekend, and we had a really good running. We almost beat we kind of chafed against AES at the time. It was a Pristini and our city's team,
Right.
and they were like slaughtering everyone. They thought we were going to qualify too, and then we ended up playing. I forgot what we played. We played TK, and it was kind of just me and Happy going back and forth. I mean, I remember like the first map I dropped 52 and Happy dropped like 55. It was crazy. I was like, dude, all right, I can't one up them. And, they ended up winning that. And, yeah, I mean, it was a pickup thing. Honestly, I think we all remember that we teamed back then, but we don't really, we never really based that off of anything.
Right.
You know, when we formed this team, we kind of just were like, all right, brand new team, start fresh. You know, because we actually practiced on this team rather than the last one was a pickup team.
Yeah, because I was actually looking at like your like wiki page in some case, and I was like, wait a second, that's right, he did play with these guys like last year. It's kind of funny. It's like a little bit of a reunion. Of course, one player kind of being substituted in, which I really want to talk about. Now, I've casted over this guy a few times, and not until the last event at Anaheim did I know that it was not Stamino. It is in fact Stamino. I know, and I feel awful because like I have people tweeting at me constantly like that's not his name. You pronounce it a different way, and I was like, oh my gosh. But tell me a little bit about this guy because I've heard about him, you know, through the grapevine a little bit. I know he obviously played under Era, and I think it was at Anaheim as well. I know he's played under Kingdom and got like a top 16 placement. I can't remember what event that was at.
I played him at Anaheim. I played him. I beat him through top 12.
Oh, did you? Okay, but like tell me a little bit like the process behind picking him up because I was talking to you and Got Rex a little bit like during that time of the release of Nelson. Like, what exactly does he provide to the team that kind of brings you guys to the next level? Because of course, you guys seem to mix really well when it came down to the LCQ and stuff like that. But tell me a little bit more about him. Like, how did you kind of make that process to kind of find him as your guys' fourth?
So like I said, I played Stamino last year at Anaheim, and it was probably the hardest match we had. That we actually won, and I had to pick a team that event, but we were really good. It was me, Mochila, Miyagi, and Examples, and they actually brought us down to the wire like last map, 6-5. We ended up winning it. So I mean, I knew Stamina was good. He never really broke that top level consistently, but in this game, after he did get at Anaheim, I always tell people that I know it sounds weird, but once you play in pool play once, I feel like overall it makes you better as a player. I know it sounds weird, but
no, I mean.
It's like you can play pro teams here and there and not do good or do bad, but once you're in an event, you consistently play them in a full setting where you have hard match, it makes you better as a player as far as, you know, keeping composed, you know, staying in the game for multiple matches. You know, no breaks, no easy matches. You just have a full play environment. And after he got that, I saw he did really good. And he fit the role for Nelson perfectly. I mean, he did. He had the best objective stats on his team. I mean, at the event, I think he had number one in one of the objective stats. I forgot which one. I think hill time or something. And I usually don't. I don't really necessarily like it when people play just straight hill, but it's just like it's the fact that he can do it if he's needed to put in that position. And his play style, he runs Armani Erad, and there's basically two types of Erads. Either one that's just roaming around, or you're just flooding the hill.
Yeah, objective. Yeah.
And he just pretty much fits Nelson's role a little better, so we're already comfortable with it. And he's a little smarter of a player than Nelson. I will give Nelson the S&D because Nelson is a very good S&D player.
Very good. Yeah.
I feel as though S&D, you know, we can win that as a team. Whereas Hardpoint, I'd rather have someone more teamwork based in Hardpoint.
Exactly.
You know, who works on the team. You don't always have to go to the hill. If they're stacking the hill, I'm not going to go and try to break it. You know, there's more of them in there. Let's go to the back at the spawn so we can break it. But if they're not stacking the hill, then we're going to go to the hill. You know, we're just very good teamwork oriented.
Yeah, well, I want to ask too really quick because I know at the beginning of the year near ESWC time there was a little bit of drama that went kind of down with Pander, Stamino as well, along with Invader. I know there was like a little bit of issues kind of going on with them. Has that been like, you know, when you're obviously in scrim calls and stuff like that, has that ever been like a conversation that's been, you know, re-brought up, you know, at times, or was like Pander once maybe a guy who also recommended Stamino to join the team, or has that been like a conversation that you guys have had yet?
Wait, what do you mean?
Because during the ESWC time, I know there was like a little bit of issues. Like I think Pander ended up leaving the roster with Stamino and Invader on it to go to LG to play with them. I don't know if that's. It seems like it hasn't really been an issue by any means.
They've brought it up. I've heard them joke about it and stuff.
Oh, okay.
It's be funny, but they're all good friends still. I mean, we still talk to Invader all the time. We're all his team speak and talk to him, so no issues there. I mean, I don't really think he's gonna leave my team or anything.
No, I know. I just had to bring it up because it was like I know during the time it was like a hot topic on the the COD community. Of course, like Panda performed very well, so it kind of
I mean, the way you think about it, like anyone would have taken that.
Oh yeah,
that offer. I mean, if you don't, you're kind of honestly, it's a stupid decision not to take. Just being honest.
Oh yeah, I mean, it definitely makes sense. When you get a chance to play with a team like LG, I think I would definitely take it personally. Now, obviously, I'm not good enough to do that by any means. I'm hoping to maybe practice for World War II. Johnny, let me know if you guys need a fourth. Or no, I'm joking. Not at all.
Get your bar shot ready.
Exactly. Oh gosh. Preparation for Last Chance Qualifier. Let's go and talk about that a little bit. I know we've kind of been dabbling around the how the roster kind of formed together and stuff like that. But talk to me a little bit about the Last Chance Qualifier, about what was like the focus directly coming into this tournament. Was it a certain game that you guys needed to work on? Was it teamwork, chemistry, communication, anything along those lines? Because I know there was an interview with, I think it was Pander who had with Deserto, and he was kind of saying like honestly, we've just been kind of focusing on, we wanted to make a fast team, like a fast-paced team, and I didn't know if there was anything regarding that kind of led into your preparation for the tournament.
So yeah, when we were practicing for LCQ, there weren't really, I mean, we had our weak game modes. Obviously, I worked on throwback uplink was one of them. It probably still is our weakest uplink, but we're a lot better at it. We just have to figure out how to counter teams cheating the ball blue, like field side, because teams do that. I don't know why, but it's really annoying. And we just have to counter that. Other than that, we fixed our throwback uplink, and our main issue was not being aggressive enough. And usually, when my team is when we're playing together and we're aggressive together, that's when we usually outshine other teams. When we're trying to think too much and trying to not move as fast as we can, we tend to just not play fast enough. I guess we don't advance in the map when we should.
Right.
We'll get 2 down and we won't be moving. We'll be looking for more kills when we should be moving. Stuff like that. So basically, practice consists of communication and making sure. Not playing dumb, but making sure we're always playing up the speed.
Right. I know, too, a lot of teams, or I don't know if you can even speak on this as well, but I know, from the community's aspect, I think roster changes over time have kind of led into people saying, "Oh, it's just a roster change. It doesn't really mean too much. It's just one player." But when you think about it, it's that's 25% of what's going on in the match. There's a lot of chemistry, a lot of communication that has to be developed, especially when, for your example, it was lucky enough that Stamino had obviously been practiced in the objective style role, of course, kind of filling in for Nelson and whatnot. But I think, too, not a whole lot of people kind of realize coming into a new roster change is that a lot of things change. It's a fourth player. It's basically 25% of everything that goes on is now fresh and new. But it's obviously, I'm glad to see that's obviously worked out for you guys. I want to talk about, of course, some of the matches that you guys had in particular, because it was not by any means an easy road for you guys. You had, first match obviously worked out well for you guys. You ended up beating Panda, winners round 1. For a spot, actually, because it's just win 2, you're in. You guys end up playing against Project Evil, which is by no means the easiest matchup. I think they end up having the number 1 seed at the tournament. Talk to me a little bit kind of the prepreparation coming against Project Evil, because I know they've got, you guys have obviously faced off in the past with those players.
So whenever we play them, to be honest, I'm still going to say it to this day if they're watching this interview. I'm sorry, it's still true. They're a better online team. They're still good. Don't get me wrong, they are a good team, but they are infinitely better online. They if you're watching this interview, you are better online. That's not an argument. You are better.
All of them right now. I'm kidding.
I'm not saying you're bad on land. I'm just saying when it comes to playing you guys online, it's impossible to touch you. But that being said, we didn't play them too much to begin with because they got a little more structured. I talked basketball a little bit and Glory. When they first made that team, when BZ was on it and stuff, they were a little, not BZ's fault, I'm just saying when BZ was on the roster.
Right. Yeah.
They were just pretty unstructured. They just kind of ran around and did their own thing. It ended up working because, someone just popped a 3-piece on their team. These are all talented players, and they can just do that. But it would be so random that we would just stop scrimming them because we couldn't figure out how to read a team that's just guys running around,
Yeah.
But so the pools got announced, or the matchups, I guess, the bracket, and we ended up having to play them. We saw that, and so we couldn't scrim them, obviously. We weren't going to scrim the team that we're going to play. And in that time, they kind of got a little more structured. Still a little reckless, but still more structured. And they're a good team. They just play super, super aggressive. I preach aggression, but they take it to a whole new level. They just have, I feel like they have the ability to, I remember we were playing them, I think, Profit on the last hanger rotation, like killed us all like one by one, like just going off. I mean,
I was going to ask you about that too, because not that I want to bring up sad memories by any means, but that was by far like one of the most intense moments of the entire LCQ was Scorch Hardpoint. You guys are obviously down 2-1 at the time, and they ended up making obviously a pretty momentous comeback. I don't necessarily want to ask you like what it was like, but like what was the communication kind of going on? Because of course you guys are maybe on the cusp of forcing the map 5 versus Project Evo, the number one. See if you guys win this. You obviously advance, but what was the kind of the communication, or what really went wrong? I guess you could say, and that rotation hanger.
Honestly, we kind of just in general on the map, we just kind of started playing frantic, going one by one on things. I mean, our communication was still there, but it was kind of like more call outs rather than shot calls, and we just weren't playing numbers at all. We didn't really buddy system or anything. We just hit things one by one. Our trades weren't there. I mean, it was a good play from them. I mean, they played really well. I can't take anything away from the other team, but that hard point, that Scorch, we just weren't playing together.
Yeah. I feel like Scorch, I don't know if it's just me or if it's just Infinite Warfare, or maybe it's just the spawn difference from other Jetpack Call of Duties to Infinite Warfare, but it's almost like I feel like we've never seen this many comebacks like in a hardpoint in a title before. Like I feel like every event there's at least one of them that happens, and I feel like it's a lot of the time it's on Scorch, or whether it's been the old phase lineup, this one in particular. I feel like there's been so many comebacks. I'm not sure if it's maybe just the map. I don't know. In your opinion, do you think it's like the way that the spawns work? Do you think it's the way the map plays out, or?
I think the map that people can come back on the most is Breakout. To be honest,
Breakout.
Just because of that map, like if you hold rotation, you win. So like it's very easy to come back on Breakout. Scorch, I think it's like just what happened to my team. You just start playing frantic because on that map it's so fast paced.
Yeah, just errata.
So if you're just smoking a team, I mean we weren't smoking them, I'm saying in general. If you're beating a team pretty bad and you just start like ego challenging and winning some of those gunfights, once they get their stuff together and start contesting your points, if you're still ego challenging, you kind of get lost in the moment on that map because it's so fast paced and so small that everything will just fall apart and snowball effect.
Right. Well, of course, like you said, that was obviously a little bit of a dry spell at times, but of course you guys ended up facing off against EDAX Pro for qualification, and you guys won that one 3-0. So I'm not gonna lie, I was watching the matches like, oh gosh, like I don't want Rogue to go out like that. I want you guys to obviously be able to qualify and stuff, and it was obviously a pretty easy match for you guys in the long run. Of course, winning that one at 3-0, which solidified your qualification along with the 7 others. And now it's really just time to focus on CWL Champs. Of course, $1.5 million tournament. You've obviously competed at Champs in the past. Tell me, what exactly is it like to kind of come into a tournament like this? Because I feel like from a commentator's point of view, from just even a spectator's point of view at times as well, it's just like, okay, cool, Champs is coming up, but you don't really realize that there are guys who are competing for $1.5 million. Like, tell me a little bit, like, what is it like from a player's point of view who's going to be at this tournament competing for a large sum of that prize? What does it like mean to you? I guess you could say from a player's point of view.
It means like everything, I guess. I mean, I think my team is everyone's first Champs. So just going into it, this is a good feeling being able to qualify and have the shot at the $1.5 million prize pool. I mean, it's an insane amount of money. It's more than that too in the prestige of just COD Champs. Only the top 32 teams in the world get to go, and just to be a part of that, it just feels amazing.
For sure, man. Well, it obviously should be a really interesting tournament to see how things do line out. But like I said, it's just crazy to me, like from the point of view, it's just like, oh yeah, we're going to COD Champs. Like, it should obviously be like a really interesting tournament. But I mean, depending on the prize pool, and I know obviously there's been people who've kind of been complaining about the prize pool and stuff like that. But in general, like if you place well, I mean, as far as like salary, as far as money, as far as like a overall lifestyle, I mean, you're good for the next year, and it's obviously should be. A very interesting tournament to watch. I know groups were obviously announced after Season 2 playoffs. I want to get your opinions on Group H quick before we do obviously end up the interview. There were a little bit of issues with the group drawing. You ended up being in one group. I think it was you, Lethal, and TK got swapped around a little bit. You're in one group with E United Mind Freak and Infused. Now you're in one with Cloud9, Enigma 6, and MRM Black. I want to know your thoughts. Cloud9, E6, MRM Black. Thoughts coming into this one. Thoughts coming into this group in particular. Any matchups, anyone that you're looking forward to facing off against?
Personally, I'm looking for the Cloud9 match just because I'm pretty good friends with John Exotic. And I've actually never beaten him on LAN, and I don't know why. I've never beaten him, so he always gives me shit for it. So I keep telling him it's going to 3-0 him this time because it matters the most. No, it should be a good match, though. I love John. But I really want to beat them. E6, very good team. I think they're extremely good. We scrim them a lot, though, so we kind of know their play style.
Okay.
We actually have very good matchups against them. We lost to them in like 3 or 4 2Ks, and it always goes last map every single time.
Yeah.
So they're a very good team, but we kind of know their play style by now, and it should be a good match. The MRM Black, I don't know much about the team, to be honest, so I can't really speak much about it, but I mean, we're confident coming out of our group.
Yeah, I know they ended up making it through the EU LCQ. I think it's like Geff Kid, Benji, Johansson, those guys. So they've been kind of made a little bit of noise in the European realm. Of course, made it to the last chance qualifier there. But like I said, it should be pretty interesting. I'm not going to lie, from my perspective as well, coming into this pool, I'm actually pretty excited to see how these matches go. I know you obviously would have been preferred to go to the other one. We were kind of talking about that one before the interview started.
Yeah.
But this should be really fun. Like this to me is like one of the most competitive groups I think there is. Because I feel like Cloud9 has their elements. Of course, you have Assault, you have Priest, you have Exotic as well. Those guys kind of have like a similar, like a fast-paced style to them at times. Right. And you also have the guys on E6. I mean, everyone knows how E6 plays. Royalty, the guy with the ERAD Proto, like those guys are obviously very fast-paced. And you have your team as well. I mean, you have obviously a number of different guys who can go off. I just feel like maybe if excluding E6, because a lot of these guys have been known since like AW, but it's kind of fun to me because this is like a pool where it is 2 years ago. To be honest, I mean, you wouldn't really know a whole lot of the guys who were in this group necessarily, and so it's to me like this is like the kind of like, I don't really know how to say it exactly, but this is kind of like the up and comers. Like this is like how this is the future of Call of Duty essentially is in this pool, and I think it's always like really interesting to kind of see how you guys obviously will face off against each other and stuff like that. But man, it's been fun talking to you. I'm not gonna lie, I missed seeing you walking around events and stuff like that. And I
mean, you'll be at Champs, or you
maybe we'll see what happens. I hope to see you.
You'll be there.
Well,
you'll be there.
Well, we'll see. I hope to, man. I hope to see you there. But Johnny, it's obviously always great talking to you, kind of catching up really quick. I want to obviously give this opportunity to you if you have any shout outs, sponsors, Rogue, if you want to shout them out as well. Anyone you want to kind of shout out before we close this one out?
Shout out to Rogue. Appreciate it, guys. All the support. It's great. Love the org. Shout out to my teammates, Godrix, Pander, Stamino, Jester. Shout out to Anguish, the owner, Nile, Chance, Demented. Love those guys. I think I said Nile Chance too. Maybe I think they're going to Chance. I'm not even kidding.
Really?
I might wear
That'd be cool.
my Jester jersey.
That'd be awesome, actually. That little J, little jewels on it. Yeah.
But shout out to John Zodic. Gonna smoke you, buddy. Don't worry about it.
Oh gosh.
That's about it.
Well, man, thank you so much for the interview. I want to give a quick shout out to our social media, of course, here for UMG. If you guys are curious, want to obviously stay tuned for future stuff. You can obviously stay tuned to this UMG or this this YouTube channel. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at UMG Events _ at UMG Events _ at Instagram, and on Facebook at UMG Events as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see y'all next time. Johnny, it's been fun, pal. See you guys later.